In the opening scene, we see Lily, a copywriter and an ardent lover of Jane Austen's novels. She gets off the sofa hurrying out of the house to meet up with her book club members. She suddenly realizes that she left a book behind, so she decides to get a copy from the bookstore nearby. The moment she is about to lay hold of the book, some other man grabs it. Lily gets infuriated at the fact that he will take the book away just because he bought it online a minute ago. She argues with him to no avail, and she finds it outrageous that he gets to go away with the book. She finally let him have the book and head back to join her friend Alicia and the other members of Jane's society. After sharing her experience with her friend, Lily welcomes the newbies and leads the meetings, trying to find out why the newbies love Jane Austen's novel and their favorite characters. They all enjoy a swell time discussing the various characters and themes of different Jane Austen novels. At the end of their meeting, Lily announces a new topic for discussion the next time they converge. As they all depart, Mr. Whitcomb, the owner of the Old English pub, calls Lily to share some new developments. Though he never charges them a dime whenever they have their meetings at his pub, Mr. Whitcomb feels the need to reveal to Lily that he has to retire soon and he will have to sell the place. Jane is happy to hear that he will retire soon, but then she has to start searching for a new place to hold their meetings. She thanks him for being an amazing person and allowing them to use his pub for free. Lily joins Alicia, who is waiting outside the pub. She shares the news with her, and now she's saddled with the responsibility of getting a new place, which might be expensive. Lily's boyfriend calls to check in on her, but she drops the phone back inside her bag, wishing he would be making fewer suggestions about how she should live her life. She recites a quote from one of Jane Austen's books about two hearts sharing the same thoughts and tastes. Lily and Alicia soon part ways, and she hurries to go meet with her boyfriend in a fancy restaurant. She shares the news of Mr. Whitcomb's retirement with him. He sympathizes with her and also shares the news of his promotion at work, which will require him to move to Chicago. Martin suggests she move with him since her book club is about to end. He brings out a ring, proposing marriage to her. However, she reveals to him that she has her goals and she would want to get there on her own, not by marrying him. Martin understands the message she's trying to pass. He understands that her moving with him will be an opportunity for her to get back to writing. But then, he can't force her against her will. Lily gets back home feeling devastated. She picks up her book, wishing she could talk to Jane and hear some of her wisdom. She soon falls asleep. Then she suddenly jerks up, sensing the presence of someone in the house. The lady is dressed up with her curly hair and gown like she's from a novel or theater drama. Lily shoos her away, demanding she leave, but the lady tries to tell her that she requested help. However, Lily wouldn't listen, so she turns her back and quietly vanished into thin air. Lily takes her eyes off her phone, threatening to call somebody when she suddenly realizes the lady is no longer there. She looks around and can't find her. Her eyes meet with Jane Austen's novel on the desk, and it suddenly dawns on her how the woman on the book cover has some similarities with the lady she just saw. The next morning, Lily runs off to meet Alicia at her workplace. She wants her friend to confirm if she has been exhibiting any delusional traits lately or if she probably needs some cognitive tests. Alicia is surprised because she doesn't quite understand what Lily is insinuating, but she believes Lily is okay mentally. Lily shares details of Martin's proposal the previous night, which led her to go back home before she had a strange experience. Alicia narrates the scary scenario she had after her breakup, but Lily confirms hers is different from that. She confesses that Martin's offer was tempting as she has always longed to go to England, but then, she doesn't want it to be that way. Their conversations get interrupted by a colleague who comes to inform them of a meeting in the boardroom. On getting into the boardroom, Alicia and Lily get introduced to Trevor Fitzsimmons, who just bought Scribbler and a bookstore down West Street. Lily is shocked to recognize him as the man she had issues with over the last piece of Jane Austen's novel at the bookstore the previous day. During the meeting, Alicia and Lily share their different opinions about Trevor. Lily thinks he's going to ruin the bookstore, so she keeps giving him strange looks. Alicia thinks otherwise until he reveals to everyone at the meeting that the reason why he bought the bookstore is to draw people to his website. After the meeting, Lily's boss requests to speak to her privately. Later at night, Lily lays her head on Jane's book, hoping she would have a repeat of what she experienced earlier. She drops the book in frustration when it's not working, and she stands up to get the door and find out who is ringing the doorbell. Upon opening the door, she is surprised to see Martin's. He doesn't want to just let things be the way they seemed the previous day, so he wants them to talk about it. Lily stands by the door, preventing him from entering. She turns her head to take a look inside the house and sees the lady who appeared to her the previous night. The lady is on her sofa chuckling and holding her book. Lily lies about having a roommate so Martin wouldn't have to come in. But after having second thoughts, she lets him in, but the lady is gone once more. Martin doesn't see the roommate she's talking about, but he does notice the book on the chair. She claims that her roommate was the one reading the book, but now she's gone. Martin seizes the opportunity to talk, but Lily refuses to let him. She quickly apologizes, asking him to leave already, and she hurries him out of her house. Lily sighs and gets back into the house. As she takes the stairs up, the lady appears inside the mirror speaking to her. In a second, they are both in the living room and the lady paces up and down while Lily sits on the sofa. Lily inquires to confirm her suspicions that she is Jane Austen, and she nods affirmatively. Lily can't wrap her head around it because Jane has been deceased for over 200 years. Jane asks about Martins, also stating the need for a man to have cattle, so he will not be lacking in resources for his family, just like it used to be in her days. She explains the only reason why she's there is because Lily called for her, and now, she has to help her handle her life situations. She prepares tea and invites Lily to join her so they can begin over a cup of tea. Jane soon starts teaching Lily how to dance like a lady, just like her sister taught her back in her days. The next morning, Lily rushes off to work as usual. Her boss, Ellen, passes in between her and Alicia, asking if they are coming up with ideas for the new accounts they are expected to create. The ladies laugh awkwardly, pretending they are coming up with mind-blowing ideas. Lily drags Alicia off to a secluded place so they can discuss without interruptions. Lily reveals to her friend that she has seen Jane Austen twice in her apartment. She narrates the incident of the previous day, and how Jane has only been giving her advice on how to deal with men in life. Alicia is surprised at the revelation, but then, she thinks it will be a great idea to put Jane to work. Besides, who else will be better to come up with ways to get people back into the bookstore? Later in the day, Lily visits Mr. Whitcomb's pub as he had invited her to come see him. He reveals he has found a place for her to continue hosting her meetings with the Jane Society members. Lily is elated to hear the news. Trevor joins them and Mr. Whitcomb introduces him as the owner of the place he found for her book club meetings. Trevor is surprised to find out that she hosts a Jane Austen book club. She is exactly the type of person he's trying to reach with his app, and since she doesn't do apps much, it is more reason why he needs her on the job. Mr. Whitcomb interrupts their discussion because he didn't expect that they'd know each other already. Lily tries to refuse the offer politely, but Trevor insists his bookstore would be a better place to host her meetings, and she can host the next meeting there. Lily doesn't quite know how to escape the situation, so she makes a promise to discuss it with the others and get back to him. She excuses herself, but she is unable to hide her nervousness as she walks. She almost falls on the tables and chairs on her path. Seeing how Lily isn't interested in using Trevor's bookstore and considering the conversation that just ensued between the two, Mr. Whitcomb confesses to Trevor that the meeting with Lily didn't go as he expected it would. He thought she would be elated at the solution he came up with. Later at night, Lily takes Alicia along to Brennan for a work discussion. Brennan welcomes them and reveals the reason for getting people to the bookstore is to discredit it and make them see how beneficial the app is compared to a bookstore. He notices Lily and Alicia's objective look and he quickly discards the statement as a joke. After the meeting with Brennan, Alicia insists he is interested in Lily, so she suggests Lily should let him know if she has any interest in him by suggesting they go out on a movie or restaurant date together. Lily disregards her friend's advice. Lily walks into her apartment looking all exhausted. She drops the mock-up for the bookstore campaign on the table. As she is about to open them up, Jane pops out requesting to know what they are. She is surprised to find out she is still working even though it's late at night. She makes a statement that catches Lily's attention, and Lily quickly confesses that Jane's presence might just be to help her come up with good ideas, but Jane refuses. She informs her that no one can work that way, as one must find their inspiration. Hence, ideas must come of their own accord. Lily shares her ideas with Jane, but she finds errors in all of them. Jane advises her to strive for something more unique instead as she hands Lily a manuscript she threw away. She suggests Lily should spend her evenings on her writing and getting the manuscript to a publisher. Lily, on the other hand, doesn't want the agency to fire her. Jane doesn't think it's worth sacrificing her work, but in frustration, Lily shuts her up, demanding she keeps her advice to herself. Jane angrily walks away and vanishes into the air. The following morning, Lily visits the bookstore to inform Trevor that the Jane Society had a vote, and 9 out of 10 agreed to meet at his bookstore. Trevor loves the sound of this, and he confesses that it will be great to have them over at their next meeting on Sunday, and he will be willing to provide refreshments for them since he has someone who prepares it for him. At work, Lily finds Alicia sobbing loudly from the broom closet. She walks in there and tries to comfort her friend. She is crying over some personal problems. Lily tries to calm her down and get her out of the broom closet before someone comes. In the evening, Lily and Alicia sit out at Mr. Whitcomb's pub. Lily wonders why she was crying inside the broom closet earlier on, and Alicia reveals she had to go cry there because the last time she cried in her office someone saw her. She switches the topic, requesting to know why Jane isn't helping with their presentation. Lily shares Jane's reservations about modern advertising, and that earning a living through their line of work isn't a top priority for a novelist who has been long deceased. Mr. Whitcomb serves them their drinks, asking how things are with Lily and her boyfriend. Alicia reveals Lily has a new admirer, so there's no need for Mr. Whitcomb to feel sorry for her. The old man simply excuses himself, leaving the ladies to continue their conversation. Lily asks why Alicia is weeping again. Alicia lets it all out in a rush as she complains about her parents who got her a guy they want her to marry because she's getting old. To make matters worse, he will be coming to see her on Tuesday, and if she refuses dinner with him, they promise to never speak to her ever again. She doesn't know what to do as the dinner is already close. Lily recalls that she is 27, so she doesn't quite understand what her parents mean by her getting old. However, she advises her friend to do whatever she can, rather than marry without affection. It's Sunday evening already, and the members of the Jane Society are arriving at Trevor's bookstore. While sharing their testimonials on the novels they read, Barry notices Lily doesn't look so good. The others urge her to share her issues even though they might have nothing to do with Jane. Alicia gives a funny face as she listens to Lily share her problems as the cause of her worry. The members advise her to be there for her friend who needs her. Lily thanks them for their advice and shares the topic to be discussed the next week, before bringing the meeting to an end. Lily reveals how she intends to be there for her friend by interrupting the date with the guy her parents chose. Lily thinks Jane would absolutely love her idea, but then she'll ask her first. She walks to the book section where Jane's books are kept. She calls Jane's name and whispers, hoping she will pop out of nowhere as usual until Trevor interrupts. He wonders if it's healthy for her to be obsessed with just one author. He recites quotes from other authors and Lily disagrees with the Hemingway quote because she doesn't think Jane will agree with that quote. The both of them get into a little argument and Trevor reveals he has read Jane's Pride and Prejudice, but then he finds the plot and characters a little predictable. He takes his leave seeing how speechless Lily has become. Jane pops out in her usual style, but this time, she seems to be angry with Trevor's description of her book. Lily calms her down and heads back to tackle Trevor. She realizes she has said too much, so she apologizes for going overboard in defending Jane. Trevor accepts the apology and drops a quote which she tries to guess to the author until a call interrupts them, and he excuses himself to go take his call. Jane comes to meet her and the both of them share their opinions about Trevor, and in no time Jane disappears again, leaving Lily all by herself. The following morning is Lily, Brennan, and Alicia's presentation. The three of them feel pressured as they haven't come up with anything tangible and they dare not tell Ellen that. Lily walks back to her office, and she is in shock at finding Jane there. Jane couldn't miss the opportunity to come to see where Lily works. Still trying to wrap her head around how to handle Jane's presence in her office, Trevor comes knocking. She opens the door and stands in his way, preventing access to the office. After conversing with him, Lily shuts the door carefully and walks back in. Jane concludes that Trevor is as disagreeable as the first time she met him. Lily doesn't think differently, but then she feels there is something this time around. She shuns Jane, who is trying to imply that she can consider Trevor if she thinks he might be a candidate as her suitor. Jane steps out, informing her she's going to take a promenade. Before Lily can get a hold of herself, Jane already walks out the door. Lily runs after, shouting for her to come back. She meets the eyes of her colleagues, questioning why she is being so loud. She apologizes to them for creating a ruckus and she quietly walks back into her office. It's evening and Lily is still at the office, typing her story on the computer. Brennan walks into her office and she quickly shuts down her computer. He reveals there is something he's got to tell her. Lily thinks he might want to profess love to her, so she tries to stop him from doing so, but he suddenly blurts out that he's in love with Alicia. The both of them heave a sigh of relief, and Brennan further reveals that he has been wanting to tell Alicia, but then he overheard her saying her parents set her up with someone, and he doesn't want to complicate her life. He doesn't want to tell her how he feels because she might want nothing to do with him, which will be a disaster. He pleads with Lily to help him by somehow making Alicia fall in love with him and make her see him in a new way. Lily wonders how she's going to help him do that. However, she accepts, just so he will leave her office. He hugs her in appreciation and walks out immediately. The next few days, Lily carefully sets up situations in the office or date nights that will bring Alicia and Brennan together, and then she quietly walks out, leaving the both of them to themselves. Sometimes she drops an anonymous note on Alicia's desk. Lily attends a party at Mr. Whitcomb's pub. On her way out, she almost bumps into Trevor, but she apologizes. He suggests they go for a walk, which she agrees to. They walk down the street talking about how they constantly bump into each other, and Trevor guesses it might just be because they like old things like books and Mr. Whitcomb, making Lily laugh heartily. They approach the market and Trevor observes Lily's reaction to the cold, so he takes off his coat and uses it to cover her. They continue conversing and discover there are some things they both like. Jane reveals she just finished writing her first novel and Trevor congratulates her. He asks if she has a publisher instead of just letting the novel stay idle on her computer. She does not want to take the risk of getting rejected or failing, so she has no plans to publish it. Trevor advises her to take the risk. After all, it's only a risk if it doesn't work out and not if it works out well. A moment of silence ensues as they both stare intently into each other's eyes for some seconds. She breaks the silence as she requests to head home and prepare for the busy week ahead of her. The following evening, which happens to be the day Alicia is to go on a date with the guy her parents arranged for her, Lily arrives at the location early, according to their plan. After she gets served a drink, she turns her head only to find Jane sitting in front of her. At Jane's request, Lily reveals their plan on how to get Alicia away from the guy, just in case he ends up being some dummy. Jane suggests it would be better if Alicia pretends to faint, as they do in her time to escape a suitor. Just then, Alicia walks in side by side with the guy. Jane and Lily observe from where they are sitting that Alicia seems to be enjoying the conversation. Alicia suddenly strokes her hair and Lily interprets it to be the signal. She gets up quickly to interrupt the date, but Alicia continually nods her head, indicating she backs off. Lily now wonders what's going on. She turns to make her way back and eventually bumps into a waiter. The noise draws the attention of Alicia's date and Lily walks out feeling embarrassed. Jane appears right beside her outside, and a frustrated Lily chides her for always transporting out of nowhere. Jane advises Lily that if she must interrupt with matters of the heart, it has to be with the most delicate touch. Lily can't believe that as a famous novelist, Jane is giving her that "I told you" look. She hurriedly walks away from her while Jane smiles satisfactorily. At night, Lily and Jane watch a movie inspired by one of Jane's novels. The next morning, Alicia updates Lily about her date with Vishal, who is also appalled by her parents' behavior. She reveals their decision to keep in touch and vent about their parents. Ellen walks in on them, hoping they are ready for their presentation before walking away. They are lost in thought until Brennan interrupts them. Lily gives Alicia a knowing look while she blushes and smartly runs into the boardroom. In the next scene, everyone gives Lily a round of applause for acing the presentation. After the presentation, Lily meets with a member of Prestige Press and discovers that Trevor put up her book without her permission. In a few minutes, she storms into his bookstore to confront him. Later, they walk into the bookstore ready for their usual meeting with the other members of the Jane Society. Alicia updates Lily about how she's determined not to let her parents' pressure affect her. They start the meeting, but Lily drifts off once more. Lily decides to announce to everyone that she has decided to take a leave of absence from being president of the Jane Society. The members gasp, as they didn't see it coming. They wonder if she's sick or something, but she reveals that she's perfectly fine, and the reason she's doing that is because she has finally made up her mind to go on the trip to England to go see Jane's home. The members' faces light up in excitement and they congratulate her until Alicia interrupts her. Alicia openly disagrees with her excuse and reveals that she suspects Lily might be having some new man in her life, which is the reason for the sudden confidence and happiness she exudes. The others all exclaim in surprise. Lily tries to quell their noises by getting their attention back to the topic of the day. Unfortunately, they are no longer interested in the topic but are now interested in her new boyfriend. Trevor shows up offering to answer their questions, and in the presence of everyone there, he requests to apply for the job. He refuses to accept her rejection and recites a quote from one of Jane's novels, stating it's one of the lessons the novel teaches, not failing to mention how he has read all of Jane's novels. The others agree with him and he apologizes for charging forward to pursue the things he wants without considering how the people around him feel about it. He pleads with her to give him a second chance to learn and change, with her by his side guiding him through. He recites another quote from Jane's book which gets everyone, including Lily, emotional. One of her members asks Lily to give Trevor another chance amidst tears, and the others agree with him. Lily gets up and gives the book she's holding to Alicia. Her eyes fill up with tears as she approaches Trevor and they kiss each other passionately right before everyone. One of the women in the book club reminds everyone that the scene before them is just like the ending of Jane's story titled Emma. Trevor informs Lily that he changed the store's policy because buying in person will always trump online purchases. She laughs, heartily agreeing that his policy is great, and she kisses him one more time. The next morning, Lily gets back to the house. She calls out for Jane, but she's nowhere to be found. She picks up a book from the floor and looks outside the window to find Jane sitting out in the garden. She joins her outside, and Jane compliments how wonderful the sunshine is compared to how it is at her home. Jane can sense the joy in Lily's voice and she guesses the sources of her mood right. Lily reveals she spent the night with Trevor, chatting about writing, and she got an inspiration as to what her next novel will be about. She shares her idea with Jane, who thinks it's a clever idea, telling her the story of Pride from Mr. Darcy's point of view. Lily points her attention to the young girl reading the book, Sense and Sensibility. The girl turns to wave at them and Lily is surprised she can see Jane just like herself. She confesses she made several attempts to summon Jane by saying her name several times, even falling asleep on her book and a lot of crazy things. Little did she know that it is just simple because Jane only comes when inspiration is needed. She recalls that she sees Jane every time she is lost, and when she appears, she somehow figures out what she needs. Jane holds Lily's hand, encouraging her and complimenting her for finding inspiration for her next novel. She smiles, assuring Jane that she will always have her novels. The ladies get up and head back to Lily's house. From a little distance, they could see Trevor sitting on the balcony waiting for Lily. Jane urges her to go ahead and she gives her a loving hug. She appreciates her for loving her writings. She takes a few steps forward, then turns back to watch Jane leave. Lily gets to her house and Trevor apologizes for coming by so early, but then he wants to run an idea by her. Lily laughs lightly upon hearing that he's thinking about eco-friendly livestock, like he wants to buy a herd of cattle. He tries to find out why she's laughing so much and she confesses that she simply thinks he's the man she's supposed to end up with. Trevor pulls her close as he thinks Jane would have a quote for the moment they are in. She describes the moments in her own words and Trevor kisses her.